I'm always maybe one of the first to try and get out there and help that individual, signal for help or whatever.
Now that's a big one. It's going into the crowd, carrying over long on.
I think the most important thing is that, I believe in my ability, and I'll tell you that, I'll tell the world, that Viv Richards believes in ability.
In an era of cricketing giants, one man stood tall, his bat a magic wand, his willow a weapon of mass destruction. Sir Vivian Richards, the most destructive batsman in cricket history, was a legend who struck fear into the hearts of bowlers worldwide.
It's in the air too, but hit so flat and so hard, and it's four again. Vivian Richards fairly emerged.
With a swagger in his step and a swish of his bat, Sir Vivian Richards took the cricketing world by storm, leaving a trail of shattered records and shattered opposition in his wake. A staggering 189 wins, 24 centuries, and a career average of 50.23. The numbers only tell half the story of Sir Vivian Richards' greatness.
Not surprising when you consider that the Windies have relied on their fast bowlers to bludgeon all comers.
But beyond the headlines, how good was Sir Viv Richards? Isaac Vivian Alexander Richards, better known as Viv Richards, was born on March 7, 1952 in St. John's, Antigua, part of the British Leeward Islands.
Yeah, said that he was just like a chat. And I just found the time because I felt that rather moved to know that someone of his stature and what he would have achieved until then.
From a young age, Viv stood out, earning a scholarship to Antigua Grammar Secondary School after attending St. John's Boys Primary School. This was a sign that he was special. Cricket came naturally to Viv. He grew up surrounded by it with his brothers Mervyn and Donald, both playing the game for Antigua as amateurs.
And that's hooked away just wide of Lawson. Richards off the mark with a boundary.
They encouraged Viv to pick up the bat and ball. As a young boy, he practiced with his father and a neighbor, Pat Evanson, who had once captained the Antigua team. But as Viv grew older, he started playing more with his friends, learning from both his victories and defeats.
Backward square leg again. Richards off the mark. The first ball.
At 18, Viv left school and worked at Darcy's Bar and Restaurant in St. John's. He joined St. John's Cricket Club, where his hard work caught the eye of the restaurant owner, Darcy Williams. Impressed by Viv's dedication, Williams gifted him new cricket gear, including whites, gloves, pads, and a bat.
And that's hooked away just wide of Lawson. Richards off the mark with a boundary.
After a few seasons with St. John's CC, Viv moved to Rising Sun Cricket Club. It was here that his journey to becoming an international cricket star truly began. The journey was, however, rough and tough. At just 17 years old in 1969, Viv Richards faced a 2-year suspension from cricket, a staggering setback for the prodigious talent. This punishment stemmed from his participation in a defiant protest match organized by the Antigua and Barbuda Cricket Association, an event unsanctioned by the West Indies Cricket Board. The match was a bold response to the YCB's controversial decision to ban several Antiguan players from regional tournaments.
No ball. And just stroked away. That ball. Realistically impossible for the ball to gather pace, but the fielder made no impact.
For Richards, who had already showcased immense talent since his debut for Antigua and Barbuda at 15, the suspension was a crushing blow. The drama didn't end there. In a high-stakes game against St. Kitts, Richards was dismissed for a golden duck, much to his frustration and the disappointment of the 6,000 fervent supporters in attendance.
This time, make it 14. You can't do it much better than that. This is what people come to see. Great batsmen.
The crowd's agitation escalated, leading to a pitch invasion that halted the game for 2 hours. In an unprecedented move to quell the near-riotous fans, Richards was granted a rare second chance to bat. Fate, however, was unkind once more, and he was dismissed again for a duck. These early career challenges only served to fortify Richards' resolve, setting the stage for his legendary ascent in the world of cricket. Viv Richards remembered that tough time in his life with a mix of regret and frustration. He admitted that he didn't handle the situation well and wasn't proud of his behavior, but he also felt that those in charge didn't do much better. They told him to go back out and bat to calm the crowd, even though he didn't want to and felt unhappy about it.
Once again, Richards giving himself some room, and his timing's pretty good as well as his placement. 2 boundaries coming in that over. The West Indies 2 for 79 after 23 overs.
Richards later said that if he had been more experienced, he probably would have refused. But back then, he did what he was told and ended up feeling like a fool just to make things easier for the local cricket authorities. Despite the suspension, Richards didn't let it break his spirit. He decided to use the time off to focus on his education and work on his cricket skills. He trained hard, building his strength and endurance, determined to return stronger. When his suspension ended, Richards returned to cricket with a new fire in his heart.
Vivian has come to the wicket in a very aggressive mood.
Quickly made up for the lost time, scoring big runs in regional tournaments. His hard work paid off, and he finally earned his place on the West Indies team, beginning his journey to becoming a cricket legend. Richards made his first-class debut in January 1972, when he was 19. He participated in a non-competition match, representing the Leeward Islands against the Windwards. Richards made 20 and 26. His competitive debut followed a few days later, playing in the domestic West Indian Shell Shield for the combined Leeward and Windward Islands in Kingston, Jamaica versus Jamaica. He scored 15 and 32, top scoring in the second innings in a heavy defeat for his side. He didn't stop there. By the time Richards was 22, he had played matches in the Antigua, Leeward Islands, and Combined Islands tournaments. In 1973, his abilities were noticed by Len Creed, vice chairman at Somerset, who was in Antigua as part of a West Country touring side. Lester Bird and Danny Livingston were essential in persuading Creed to take Richards to Somerset. Surrey had rejected both Richards and Andy Roberts at the Surrey indoor nets in late 1972. According to Richards, they did not think we were good enough to further their cricket education. In 1973, Richards relocated to the United Kingdom, where Creed arranged for him to play league cricket for Lansdowne CC in Bath. He made his Lansdowne debut as part of the second Suan at Weston-super-Mare on the 26th of April, 1973. Due to his outstanding performance, Richards was also employed by the club as assistant groundsman to head groundsman John Hayward, which allowed him some financial independence until his career was established. After his debut, he was promoted to the first team, where he was introduced to the Lansdowne all-rounder Shandy Pereira from Ceylon. Richards cites Pereira as a significant influence on his cricket development, especially about post-game analysis. He finished his first season at Lansdowne at the top of the batting averages and shortly afterwards was offered a 2-year contract with county side Somerset. Richards then moved to Taunton in 1974 in preparation for his professional debut with Somerset CCC, where he was assigned living accommodation by the club, a flat share with 2 other county players, Ian Botham and Dennis Breakwell. On the 27th of April 1974, Richards made his Benson and Hedges Cup debut for Somerset against Glamorgan in Swansea. After the game, Somerset skipper Brian Close arranged a player's ovation for Richards in recognition of his playing and contribution to the victory. Richards was awarded Man of the Match. On April 12, 1986, Sir Vivian Richards wrote his name in the annals of record books with a scintillating test century against England at the Antigua Recreation Ground.
No problem, a single anywhere he wants it, and that he decided was once again on the leg side. He's made it into 4, which takes him on to 103.
His innings of 110 runs off just 58 balls not only helped the West Indies win the match, but also made him the first batsman to score a test century at a strike rate of over 150. West Indies had already won the series, but Richards was determined to leave his mark on the match. England set the West Indies a target of 272 runs to win, and Richards walked into bat with his team struggling at 47-2. The English bowlers, led by Ian Botham and Bob Willis, were looking to restrict the West Indies batsmen, but Richards had other plans. Richards' innings were a masterclass in aggression and skill. He took on the English bowlers, hitting 7 sixes and 15 fours, and reached his century in just 56 balls. His strike rate of 189.65 was unprecedented in Test cricket, leaving the opposition and spectators in awe. Also, the West Indies team, led by Sir Vivian Richards, was dominating the series against England, having already won the first 2 tests. The third test at the Antigua Recreation Ground was expected to be a formality, but Richards had other plans. He walked into bat with his team struggling at 47 halves, chasing a target of 272 runs to win. It happened on April 12, 1986, when Sir Vivian Richards scored the fastest century in Test history, reaching the milestone in just 56 balls against England at the Antigua Recreation Ground. This feat stood as a solo record for over 28 years until it was equaled by Misbah-ul-Haq in 2014 and eventually surpassed by Brendan McCullum's 54-ball ton in 2016. Furthermore, Sir Vivian Richards achieved an unprecedented feat in one-day international cricket that remains a reminder of his excellence. On May 31, 1984, Richards became the first player to score a 50 and take a 5-wicket haul in the exact ODI match. He achieved an even more remarkable feat, becoming the first cricketer to score a century and take a 5-wicket haul in the exact ODI match. The historic match between the West Indies and Australia was played at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Richards' incredible performance helped the West Indies secure a 7-wicket victory, chasing Australia's 239 runs. Richards' all-round brilliance was on full display as he scored a quick-fire 50 runs off just 31 balls.
Oh, that's a beauty! What a hit! What a ripper!
Setting the tone for the West Indies chase. He followed it up with an exceptional bowling performance, taking 5 wickets for 41 runs in his 10 overs. His 5-wicket haul included the prized scalps of Australian batsmen like Alan Border and Greg Ritchie. Richards' second feat came on November 9, 1988, in a match against Pakistan at the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore. He scored a magnificent century, hitting 110 runs off just 77 balls, and then took 5 wickets for 41 runs in his 10 overs. This performance cemented his status as one of the greatest all-rounders in cricket history. An attempt during a 1991 home series against Australia to drop 3 West Indies stalwarts at the time played a significant role in a decision by the captain and Antiguan, Sir Vivian Richards, to leave international cricket just a few months later. Speaking on the Good Morning Jojo sports show in 2020, the iconic batsman said selectors attempted to drop opening batsman Gordon Greenidge, wicket-keeper batsman Jeffrey Dujon, and fast bowler Malcolm Marshall ahead of the April 19th, a 24 test in Bridgetown, Barbados.
That was going down the leg side. Well, it's all about...
Sir Viv said the mood during the selection meeting was like going to war, adding that he saw it as a personal attack against his success as a leader at the time. According to him, when they played against Australia, they wanted to drop Gordon Greenidge, Jeffrey Dujon, and Malcolm Marshall, telling him as captain that they had passed their prime. He added that he just felt that there was a severe effort because of his captaincy, and they had some excellent runs. Somebody was trying to disrupt that whole process of his not being successful or being a successful captain, and that was why, when they went to England after, it brought in that whole retirement factor. In the end, Viv had his way, and the targeted players did not disappoint their captain as Greenidge slammed 226 in the second innings. Marshall claimed a total of 6 wickets for 95 runs, and Dujon held 4 catches behind the stumps to propel the West Indies to a convincing 343-run victory over the Australians. Sir Viv, who was still visibly passionate about what had transpired back then, recollected that the selection meeting went on for quite some time as he was determined to have his best squad in the field. In that particular test match in Barbados, Gordon Greenidge went out and scored 200, and Malcolm Marshall went and cleaned up as well, and got a 5-4, as he would call it. They wanted to drop 3 senior individuals in a series as crucial as that against South Africa. These things are long gone anyway, but he had to fight. Do you know how long that meeting went on for? He had to go to his room repeatedly to sort out the issue. Sir Viv said the incident was a significant motivating factor for the players. Sir Viv, who cracked 99 of 156 balls in the second innings of the match, left Test cricket later that same year, playing his last game in August 1991 against England at the Oval in London. The match was also the last for Marshall and Dujon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on our next cricket insights. See you in the next video. Bye for now.